All right, good morning, everyone. It is 7 a.m. on this Thursday morning. I'm Alex Fisher alongside Kevin Charette and Maddie Jansen, who just announced she is leaving KGT.
Yeah, she's gone.
She's not gone yet.
Not
She's
gone
got
yet.
2 months left.
Yeah.
But yeah, obviously just talking
A little
about
more than 2 months.
Yeah.
just,
So
technically, yeah.
I guess that is the big headline. So, you just
Yeah.
announced it.
How do you feel now that
Something
that's
you've
off your
talked about.
chest?
I just can't.
Do you feel a little relieved that you kind of were able to announce it?
What?
Kevin and I are going. Kevin's going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Look at her neck.
Oh, I know, right? I could
break-
feel it before we
This is something-
even started,
Yeah.
before they even came back on camera for me
I
to
always
make the
know.
announcement.
See, with me, I get red in the face if I'm embarrassed or,
Maddie gets red in the
Maddie
neck.
gets red in
do.
the neck.
Like, looks like a sunburn.
Because there's been times.
Oh, yeah.
There's been times
Bad.
with Maddie, I'm
Bad.
like, Maddie, something's wrong. What's wrong? Nothing. No, your neck's
yeah,
red.
no.
Something's
Your
up.
neck, yep.
Talk,
If I'm nervous about a
Right.
story or
Yeah.
something, I mean, I remember vividly.
Do you mean you're human?
I just like I just get so red, like I break out. But I remember vividly. Gosh, what was it? There was some breaking news story that I had to anchor during the middle of the morning, and it went like kind of off the rails, and I had to ad lib for a long time. And I was by myself on the desk in there when we were in our old studio, and I
Yeah.
remember Erica, who's now our assistant news director, who was at the time she was either the assignment manager at the time or she was one of the producers on Sunrise, because that's where she was when I started here. And I remember her running and grabbing a scarf, and like they went to video so she could throw me a scarf to wrap around myself. to try and
I've
hide.
never heard that story. That is
I have not heard
hilarious.
that story. I don't even remember that. I would have been here.
Yeah, you would have been here, but I just remember that she always had my back and my front as well here.
That is too funny. Well, I know that, this is obviously, it's always hard to say goodbye, and we're not saying
Yeah.
goodbye right now. This is just like letting our viewers know that you're going to be leaving.
Yep.
Transitional period.
So it's just a transitional period, and but still, it's been, and we've all been sitting on this for a few months now,
Right.
obviously. So we've had time to process it and everything, but it does feel just so official.
You're not heartless. That's
I'm
you know, I
not
gotta let everyone
heartless.
know.
No.
Kevin told me that this morning. He's like, I'm not heartless. This is just how I react. I'm going to be kind of mean to you
Yeah,
for the
if-
next 2 months.
My friends out there that I've lost here at the TV station, they know separation is not my best suit. So I always warn colleagues that when you leave or get ready to leave, I'm not a crier.
It's a
I may
defense
not get
mechanism.
emotional. I may build a wall. So there's a slow wall building so that when you actually do leave, it's easier for me to take. So, and I say that now because I had a colleague back in the day that I did not give that. Katie,
who I took over for.
You're right. And I hurt her feelings.
You didn't give her a heads up.
You did?
Because I wasn't
Yeah.
a jerk,
Oh,
but
I
I
didn't
was
know
just
that.
yeah, and it took time later for her to tell me, and I felt so bad. And it's like that was just my wall. I was actually sad that you left. I feel sad anybody leaves here. So I may not be a crier or be something. I kind of build this wall so it's easier when you leave for me to cope.
So, okay, you've been
Which is
at
a
this station for almost 20 years. I've been here almost 16 years.
I've seen a lot of people
So
come and go.
how many anchors have been in my chair
In your chair.
spot?
Tammy?
Yes.
When
I
you
started
were
with
here,
Tammy.
but you have anchored
Yes,
with. You
I started
anchored
with Tammy.
Who, by the way, celebrated 25 years.
25 years.
Quarter of a
Like,
century.
Yes.
That's amazing.
That's who called
Okay, so
matriarch.
Tammy was the anchor when
When I
you started
in
on Sunrise?
2005, 2000, late
Or were you
2005.
on Sunrise yet, though?
I only started on Sunrise.
Oh, for some
I've been
reason I
on
thought you
Sun-
started as a reporter.
No, I
Oh,
started
okay,
as
that
the
was at your
Sunrise weather
old
forecaster
station.
and-
Okay,
Yep.
so Tammy.
Tammy, and then I had Kat Anderson.
Okay.
Oh, now I'm, and then,
Was there someone between Kat and Katie? Probably not. It may have gone straight to Katie.
yeah, I think it went.
Tammy, Kat, Katie, me.
was
That
there
sounds
one
about
more
right.
In between?
I don't think so because you started in 2005 and I started on Sunrise in 2010.
Jesus is in the booth. He's been here longer than me. I'm trying to think. Are those the three? My IFB came out, so Jesus.
Yeah,
thinks that's
he
right.
says he
Thinks
says
it's
that.
those three?
Tammy,
Yeah.
Kat, Katie, and then
And you.
me. Because
Okay.
Yeah.
I started in the station at 2009 and I went to Sunrise
Yes.
in 2010.
Because when I started,
Actually-
it was me, Tammy, and Kiyoshi. Then
Okay.
it was
Oh, it was Kiyoshi in
Kiyoshi
2005?
I started with. And then it went
Well, I
from.
was here for quite a while then.
Then I think it went Kat, Kiyoshi, me. Then it went
Katie, Kiyoshi.
Katie, Kiyoshi transitioned to
No,
you're right.
Kiyoshi was always on
You're
Sunrise.
It was.
I was
and
on
then
Sunrise
after
with
Kiyoshi, it was Maddie, Jason Galvin.
And
Well, I mean, I was here with Kiyoshi
Yeah.
for several
Right.
years.
Yeah.
And then
Then
Jason for
then
like
Jason Galvin.
2. And then
then
Alex.
me.
And
Yeah.
you were on Sunrise during Jason's tenure here as well. You were
As
a
a
reporter,
reporter.
though.
Yeah, I was a
You
reporter.
were this
when-
young little reporter
when
straight
you-
out of
well,
college.
So when you went on maternity leave.
You started before I went on maternity leave with Wyatt, right?
No, I started literally the day because the morning reporter at the time, Christina, she filled in for you, and she was the
Okay.
morning reporter. So I filled
Oh,
Christina's
okay.
spot,
Oh.
while Christina filled in for you.
But then you stayed on Sunrise once I came back.
I haven't been off.
Yeah.
Off since then.
But
It was
you-
October.
Yeah.
No, late September. I think it was
So
late
you started
September.
at the station that
2016.
spring after you graduated.
Yes.
And
li-
then
I've
in
been
2016.
on. Yeah, I've been on the shift since September 2016.
Okay. And that's when you
Yeah.
came on the shift. And then I came back after having Wyatt.
Yeah.
Because again, I had all three of my kids on, you think going through pregnancy is rough. Try doing it on television.
Well, and I've seen a lot of babies be born.
I've seen a lot of pictures of myself that
You
are less
have.
than flattering.
You have
I've
some.
seen a lot of babies be born. I was around when Katie
Lots of
Allen
babies.
had her kids, when Nevaeh was born, and then Adam Espinoza, our director, Elijah. We worked together when Elijah was born. Who else?
Well, like Alyssa Carlson, obviously.
Alyssa Carlson's, Tammy's kids.
Yeah, I was here when
Your-
Tammy's
your
baby
kids?
girl was born.
Yeah.
I had to fill in on 17 News at 5. That was quite a
Candy's
while that I had
daughter?
to do that, actually.
Yeah, Candy's daughter,
That's
Erica's daughter,
Erica's. Yeah,
Erica.
Erica's the news director.
Yeah,
Man,
lots of babies.
you don't think about everything that's happened in
All
your
the
tenure.
lives.
Isn't it crazy how it just like flies by?
It
I mean, like when you were
flies
talking about
by.
how like 14 years that you've
On
been on
Sunrise.
this shift
Just on Sunrise for
14 years. Which, if you also think about it, like you're approaching, not quite, but you would be approaching half of your life on this shift.
Yeah.
And so when you think, I mean, well over a third
Yeah.
of
You know
your
what's
life
funny
on
to
this
think
shift.
is I was the youngest person reporting when I started.
'Cause how old were-
I was 23 when
23.
I started.
I
Yeah,
was-
22?
I was 22 when I started.
I think I was 22 or
when
23.
I started.
And
But
before
you-
Alex started, I was visiting him at middle schools.
That's true.
That's
That is
wild.
true. You though, Kev, you're actually approaching 20 years.
That's
so
amazing.
you're approaching half of your
We got
life.
some time down the road, but we're focused on Maddie right now.
I know, but we're just talking about how like it's just crazy
know,
how fast time flies
Flies.
and how
It does time fly. And that's so important because we talked about that earlier, and I talked before the end of the show that I've really realized in my life now, in recent time, that, that work-life balance, that you only have one life to live, and you got to make sure that it's the happiest life that you can have because you never know when it will be done. I know that sounds very morbid, but, you have to really put all that into perspective. Sometimes I think we think work is the only thing we've got sometimes.
well, and there have been
And-
generations who believe that. Like that was the
Right.
cultural.
As I
norm.
say, we become sometimes institutionalized in our work, and we don't think there's any change. We can't do anything different, or we can't spend more time with our families. And I know that's probably been your biggest struggle is work, life, and your kids are getting older.
As I said, this schedule has been a huge blessing because I was always on this schedule when my babies were babies.
It's a blessing and a curse at the same time.
It's a hard schedule.
I
but
always
listen,
say
when you
big.
have
I always say big
babies-
pros, big cons. You know,
Yes,
the cons
when-
are obvious.
The pros were that when I had kids, I was able to be with them for most of the time. So I felt like I was both a full-time mom and a full-time at work. I felt like I got to do both because I was off. I did the noon for most of my tenure here, and I was off at 12:30. So like they went to daycare in the morning, but I was like, oh, but by 12:30 I get to go pick them up, and I'm mom for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And so I got to be with them, and then when they eventually went to school, I was always the one picking them up from school. But as they've gotten older, their schedules have gotten later. So it was like I picked them up at 12:30. Like the minute I was off, I was there. I got to pick them up and go home, and I was with them. And then we all went to bed at 7 o'clock. But now that's not so much the case. Like they don't get out of school till 2:30, and then we have to go home, and then it's baseball time. And
Baseball.
I was at the baseball field until 7:15 last night.
Yeah.
And so it gets harder the older they get.
And it's going to get harder
Their
because they're
schedules
just
get
playing baseball
later.
right now. There's more
Right.
sports to come. Your boys love sports.
Exactly, and wait till they get into junior high and then high school,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like their
and then-
schedules get later.
And normal things can start at like 7 o'clock. Just
Yeah,
start.
especially
Right.
varsity
7
games
o'clock.
are at
Ugh.
7.
That's our bedtime.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah.
And I realized the schedule took a toll on me over the years. And even though I was there physically, I wasn't really present because I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was yawning all the time. I was just like,
Yep.
I was maybe had a shorter fuse with my kids than I wanted to because I was just so tired.
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I want to actually be present. And I just think that I'll never get these years back. They will never be this age again. In fact, in a
Right.
couple of years, Eli will be out of my house.
Right.
Like he's
Oh, no, he's there
11.
forever.
I tell
He's a
myself
mama's
that,
boy.
but that's, I mean, probably not true. He's not
Right,
going to live
right.
at home.
No.
But yeah, in 7 years, he will be 18.
That's crazy.
18 years old. That's gone. And then theirs goes, I read the statistic the other day. It was something like, by the time your kids are, I want to say it was like 10 or 12, you've spent the majority of time with them that you will ever spend with them in your life.
Yeah.
In their life, because now their life is going to shift away from you, and that's
Well,
what you
they're-
want as a parent.
They're the
they
most important
transition.
times.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. That makes sense because 18 is when you hit that adult,
Right.
Milestone. But there's the transition period.
There's a
to that.
transition. It starts right around 15.
Where you're spending more time
16.
with friends and more time with your own, endeavors.
They want to be more independent.
Yeah.
Well,
They
the
don't-
second they get a car,
And you want them to be independent. Like you
Yeah.
raise your children to not need you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
But you still
it's
want
which
that
is
quality
so
time.
hard to think. Like you're raising these little humans to not need you eventually, but they're the most important thing in
But
your
you want
life
that
for so
quality time
long.
as
Getting my
long as you
coffee.
can get it.
Okay.
Sorry,
You know what I
I'm
mean?
just gonna get my
Yeah,
coffee.
and I lost my brother several years ago, and I realized, just no day is promised. Like tomorrow is not promised
That's
to
what
us.
I say.
Yeah.
You have to have
That's
that
exactly
work-life
what we were
balance.
talking about, Kev.
You have to really put into perspective. We only have one life to live,
Right.
And we never know. I
You
know it
never
sounds
know.
again. I know it sounds morbid, but
It's not morbid.
again, we
It's
never
a-
know when that day
It's reality.
will end.
Right.
And so, do you want regrets or do you want you just don't want regrets.
You want to
just-
live knowing that you had your priorities straight.
Correct.
And not living for one day I'll be well rested and being able to enjoy my time with them. Well, that day comes, they may be far gone, or I could be gone, or
Right.
we don't know, and no day is promised. And I just want us to have my priorities
Yeah,
straight.
and I definitely think that there's so much that has happened, especially post-COVID, right? Like where we have we've always said, like we've always talked about work-life balance and all that stuff for years, but I think we've always kind of went like, yeah, we need work-life balance. When I lived in Europe, it was a very big eye-opening experience to see how, exactly where I'm going with this, because you've experienced it with your family
My
in
family,
Sweden.
Yeah.
They get work-life balance. When you're done with work,
100%.
you are done with work.
You're not getting a call.
You're not getting a
6:30
call,
at night,
and
7
and there's no one pestering you saying like, why did you? They don't hold it against you if you don't answer. Well, first off, it's expected that you're not going to answer,
Yep.
but if you don't answer and they need you, they're not going to hold it against you. They're not going to say, why did you not? No, you're with your family. You were at home. You were recharging, and so, and of course, there's always the exceptions and all of that, but the culture though always focuses on being present, being with, having your work day, but then that comes to an end. And it actually comes to an end. And then you have your family day. You have the rest of your time with your family. And then and so forth. And there are more holidays. There are more they have, I think like once a month, there's a bank holiday of some sort. And it's not celebrating anything. It's just like, nope, we're taking this Friday off, or we're
Yeah.
taking this Monday off, and it's just a holiday.
They have crafted work-life balance.
Yes. And so when I was living over there, I realized like how imperative it is to our mental health, to our family's health, to our physical health. There's all of these benefits. The studies show it. And so I think for us, though, here in the U.S., when COVID hit, and we were seeing so much death, we were seeing so much tragedy, we were seeing so many things just being taken away from us, I think it was a good reminder of, if you want to look at what the silver lining of the pandemic was, I would argue that it was the realization that we're not meant to just work all day long, every single day. Our identity is not in our career. It's not in our job. It is a job.
Right.
Right? And what happens the second that we depart? You're replaced.
Exactly. You can be replaced everywhere. Where? Except home.
At home, yeah. And so it's like, obviously, well, we're going to miss you. We're going to miss you for selfish reasons, right?
Yeah.
And someone new will come stand in my spot.
Yes. And so I think that, like, it's just a good reminder, you know, for all of us, for anyone out there, for all of us, that this is not what it's all about, right?
No.
It's always great to have a job that gives you purpose, and you always want to have something that's fun, and it's almost like you want to leave. You want to leave.
In a point,
bittersweet.
exactly,
You know, you
where you're
want to
going
leave
to
at this
miss
point
it.
where you're
Like,
going to
and
miss
not
it.
like, oh, I'm so glad to be out. Now, I am going to be so glad to not wake up at 3 a.m.
But change is scary as well. I'm sure you contemplated for a very long time and you had pits in your stomach.
You know, the thing is, I never considered doing this.
Right.
This has never been an option. Like, it wasn't in my brain.
Like in your wheelhouse.
It just was never like, oh, I could just not work. No, that was never an idea that I had. So I actually did not consider it or mull it over for a long time.
Okay.
Like, it just happened. Like, it's bizarre. I don't know how I got to this point. I truly don't, but I'm really grateful I did.
Right.
I'm excited about it. I just think God led me to
You
this
listened
at
to
the
your heart.
right time.
Right.
Because it was never a couple of contracts ago. I never was like, oh, maybe I'll quit and just stay home. Like, that was never an idea I had. Like, I grew up, I went to school. I was like, oh no, I'm going to work. Like, I've been working since high school. Like, I'm going to work, obviously. And my sister is a stay-at-home mom, but I thought, oh, that's her, that's not me. I just never could see myself doing that. So it wasn't ever a thought that I had. I don't know how I got here, truly, but I'm excited.
Right. And you're probably in the back of your mind going, I don't know how I'm going to do it, or, you know, but we all figure out ways to adjust.
Financially?
Yep. Well, yeah, I mean, no secret there. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But like anything,
interesting.
you slowly adjust.
Yeah. I'm going to be home. I'm actually going to homeschool them next year. So I'm going to get
you'll be
so
working.
much time with my kids, though. I mean, I'm so excited. Eli is going into middle school.
It's like going to be a Little House on the Prairie.
Hey, yeah, maybe I'll churn my own butter. Who
I mean,
knows?
you already baked your bread. So.
Yeah,
Bake my own
and it has
bread, got my
chickens.
chickens.
And, see, it's
We'll see what else I get.
Pretty soon, PE is going to be the kids on the bike power
Laura
in the
Ingalls.
house. You know?
Laura Ingalls
Hey.
with us today.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's cool. I'm going to go from being so tired to like being well rested and having all this time with my kids. You know, it's pretty exciting. It's very sad to leave, but again, I'm glad that I'm leaving friends.
And you have something to look forward to. I mean, that's the biggest thing is,
Yeah.
I mean, I just said this, the best time to leave is when you're at your peak, when you're at your high.
Now, I'm not going to take her off our TVU mobile, which allows her
In case
to go
I can
live.
give you
So
shots
next
of the
winter,
snow.
we may
Okay.
have a correspondent. It's
I mean, 'cause I'll be up by 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't ask me for during the 5 a.m. hour. I'm not doing it.
Okay, 6.
6 a.m. Sure.
Yeah, when everyone else is up.
She won't be on the payroll, so she can say
No.
no.
Exactly.
But I might, send her a gift card to Conan's or something.
Oh, well, hey, I'll take that. I do love me some Conan's. That's a good spot. But yeah, it's just crazy how fast time has gone by.
So your last day will be at the end of June.
Yes.
And, which is, right before, of course, it's in the middle of the summer.
Yeah.
So you'll get the rest of your summer
I know.
with your boys. You get all the hottest part of the year. Get the hottest part
I'm
of the
in
year.
Tehachapi, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. You get to hang out in Tehachapi where it's about
Warm
10
but
degrees
not
cooler.
scorching.
So, yeah.
The cool thing about it is, I was playing with them out back last summer, and it's bright as day. And I'm like, all right, kids, we got to go in and go to bed.
You don't have to
And
do that
I won't
anymore.
have to do that. I'm
Right.
excited. Like, we were outside. I remember playing, and like their friends are calling to them, and like, sorry guys, you got to go to sleep. Like, because we all have to be up. Like, if I have to be up, that means you are gonna have to go to sleep too. And so anyway,
And you're not the only one. Even Elena Rusk. Before she came over with us, she had to do a work-life balance situation.
she worked mornings at
She worked
23 for a
mornings
long time.
For a long time, and then she had her girls, and she had to make the same adjustment. She didn't just be a stay-at-home mom, but she charted a different path, and she came over with us, which has been a blessing.
So lucky
Love
for
working
us.
with her.
Yeah.
But she also says, it's nice with her schedule now with the noon. She gets more time with her girls.
Yeah, and we asked her actually if she would take my spot,
And she
said,
went, ha ha ha,
nope.
no. She laughed and said no.
Yeah, in case people are out there, well.
And yet you've been doing it for 20 years.
Yes, trust me. See these bags. On my eyes? It is starting to wear on.
I know. What's crazy is Kev is actually only 25. So,
He started when he was 5.
Yeah, started when he was 5.
So, okay, I want to hear how you've made it work for 20 years. Like, what is your recipe? You have a nap recipe, right, that you are very strict about.
I don't know. People ask me, how have you survived almost 20 years
Right.
on that schedule?
It's a long time.
I don't know, and I don't know when that candle will burn out. I'm just
Right.
being honest. I don't know. But I try to keep a routine.
Okay.
So, I try to get to bed by 8:30. Then I'm up by, 3:30. And then I try to go home and take a nap right around 1:30 to 2:30. So I try to get an hour and a half nap in every day.
Hour to hour and a half nap.
Just a
and
little
then
power nap.
Make sure you go to sleep at 8:30.
Right around 8:30.
So
yeah.
8:30 to 3:30, it's about 7 hours.
You're right. And now, if I was a single guy, and had no responsibilities, I'd probably get to bed at 7. But then, when you have, a family, you can't really get to bed that early. I mean, you can, but you know what I mean? Not if you want family time. So, I try to get to bed by 8:30.
Okay. And then that nap in the afternoon.
Yeah.
I've gone through like many iterations. Like, until I had my kids, I don't really remember that time. I don't really remember.
And even on the weekends,
my brain is
though.
kind of mush.
I'm in bed early on the weekends.
Right.
See,
I don't
that's-
get out much.
That's where
I'm very boring.
Where you mess yourself up.
where I mess myself up
Can't do it.
is like, I mean, like right now, I mean, I'm like last night I think last night I was up until like 10, 15 or so.
Oh my
And
gosh!
well, because like again, it's just like I have
Ugh.
things to do and
Let me
whatnot.
just tell Alex right
I was
now.
afraid to text you. It was like 8 o'clock. I guess I could have.
You just turned what?
31.
31.
31. So, yeah, you're
The
31
young
right now.
whippersnapper.
Young whippersnapper, you can handle that right now. But let me just tell you, in 10 years, that 10:30 will hurt you.
Oh, trust me, and that's
It's already
that's-
started.
He still
that's
pays
the-
for it.
Yeah,
But, I couldn't do a 10:30.
And that's the thing that like surprises me is this schedule has gotten harder. Like I would say the last year or two have really been rough, but I don't understand how I did it with babies, with brand new babies, because my kids were 0, 1, and 2.
Yeah.
When I had my third one, I had 3 under 3, and I don't know how we survived for years of 3 babies. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how, because I mean, they would be up throughout the middle of the night, obviously, and then I'd hand them off to Justin and go to work at 4.
Right.
And the fact that now, most of the time, they sleep through the night, and I'm really struggling. It's like, how am I struggling now? And I just survived then.
And if they do wake up in the middle of the night,
understand.
there's no need to come bother me. You're old enough to just hang out on
Oh,
your
they
own.
still bother you. They just lay in bed and go, Dad,
Oh, no.
Oh no.
until he answers. And luckily, I am the harder sleeper, so usually Dad does get up.
So
and
what
get
is
them.
your schedule? What is your schedule going to be?
I don't know. I'm gonna
Whatever
sleep
she wants
until I
it to
wake
be.
up.
I mean, you can do whatever you want. I mean, you could literally do. I mean, seriously, if you think
'Cause it's
about
not
it,
like
if
you
you
have to
did
get
a
up
10
and-
to 6. if
I'm
you did
a
10
morning
to-
person though. Oh, like sleep 10 to 6?
Yeah, you could do 9
Yeah.
to 5.
I want to at least get 8 hours every night. That is my goal.
that'd be
Sleep
so
8
nice.
hours
I
a
know.
night. That's my first priority, not first priority, but that is the first change I am making.
Yes.
My
Sleeping 8 hours at night.
my cardiologist. I've actually had 2 cardiologists tell me the same thing, and they're like, your sleep schedule is literally hurting your heart. And it's because like we are not naturally supposed to go to bed when the sun is up
Or wake up in the middle of the night.
and wake up in the middle of the night. And so he literally told he even said, he goes, I would rather you wake up at midnight.
Really?
Yes. He said it all has to do with the hours. It's a whole,
Yeah.
Interesting.
it's a whole thing. And he said it is actually better for your heart to wake up, to go to bed later or wake up late and then stay up than it would be to like that schedule, than it would be to go to bed right when the sun's like
Going down.
about to set and then wake up, because the 3 to 4, like the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. hours, I don't know how it works. I'm not a cardiologist, and I'm just talking about what my cardiologists
Bottom
have
line
said.
is we have the worst job for heart health.
No, I mean, he kind of...
let's be honest, guys. We do not. Like, it could
We-
be a
we
lot
don't.
worse.
It could
No,
be
no, I'm
Definitely
saying the
could be
hour.
worse.
I'm not saying work-wise. I'm saying hours and sleep.
I mean, I know people who have it worse. I just want to acknowledge that. Like, I have
Oh, yeah.
have had it very, very
Yeah.
good, and this schedule has been a huge blessing.
But like I said,
But, yeah.
again,
We're talking about medically.
hard.
I'm not saying
yeah, and by
Medically,
the
it's
way,
hard.
like I always say, when people are like, "Oh, how do you do it?" You know, and I always say, big pros, big cons. The cons are obvious.
Yep.
I don't need to go over the cons. The pros, though, are not as obvious, and there are I mean, like you just laid them all out. But it is nice to have a day. Like you can make all of your appointments
In the afternoon. Yeah.
And you can
Run
still,
all of your errands.
You know, you can take advantage of happy hour. You can do there's all of these things that
Maybe
Well,
that's
I
how
think
I made
you guys
it
will
through
both
the 3
agree
babies.
with me. When we have those days where we think, I just can't do this shift anymore. I just can't do that. You know what I mean? Then you're out and about and you really pull back and think about why we do our jobs. Yesterday was a moment for me. I was at Walmart and this woman came up to me. I had my earbuds in. I'm jamming out while I'm doing a little grocery shopping.
How were you jamming?
Huh?
How were you jamming?
He was buying jam.
Oh, you were actually buying jam?
I wasn't really jamming.
Are you listening?
I'll be honest with you. I was listening to some very nice, peaceful gospel music as I'm going through Walmart because just
You're trying to find that inner strength.
no, just crowds get me
Yeah.
out of shopping, so it helps calm me a little bit.
Oh,
And
okay.
this lady was like this to me, and I was like, "Oh, what?" She goes, "How are you here? I just watched you at noon." She goes, "I love the fact that you talk about your dogs. I had 3 dogs and pets." It's things like that when people come
That's
up and
cute.
talk to us.
Yeah.
Gives us purpose in what we do. So that gives us that
Oh, yeah.
little fire, that energy. You know what I mean?
And for me, it's that first hour. I feel like that is just so hard. My mantra has been just don't talk to yourself. Like, not don't talk to me, don't talk to yourself. Because during those times, I'm gonna be like, this sucks, this is horrible, oh, I'm just so tired, this hurts to get out of bed, it's cold. So I don't talk to myself. I'm fine talking to other people at that early, but it's talking to myself that I try not to do because I'm not happy about the fact that I'm up in the middle of the night.
I'm the exact opposite. So I have to talk myself through, like you all know.
What do
like,
you tell yourself?
I try to, because I know, like I wake up and I'm just like so focused, like I'm tired, I'm like,
Right.
it physically
Alex
hurts.
is not a morning
I'm
person.
not,
when I go
I'm
back to
You should see him when he walks
sleep.
into the newsroom.
I'm not a morning person. Maddie has to literally look at my cup of coffee and decide
talk
when
to
she's
him.
going to. But like I have, because I'm
I
so.
don't greet him when he walks
have-
in and sits right next to me.
I have to focus.
I don't make eye contact.
It's because I have to focus on. It's like I'm not mad. I'm not grumpy or anything, but I have to focus so hard on like changing my mindset, right? Like getting myself ready for like, hey, like don't focus on the fact that you're extremely tired. Don't focus on the fact that you actually physically feel ill. Like
And people have learned not to take it in a personal manner with Alex when he walks in the morning, doesn't say good morning or whatever.
No.
Because he's very focused right to his desk. And then, this is kind of funny, he had to produce last week, and he had already been here since midnight. So he had plenty of time to wake up. When I walked in and he said, "Good morning, Kevin." I was like, did Alex just say good
it's
morning?
because I've had time.
Not that he's ever rude when he comes in not saying good morning,
but
but
I've
he had
had
that time to
I've
wake
had
up.
I've had my time to wake up
Where
because
I'm a morning person. When I wake up,
I'm a morning person, 100%.
people think it's crazy that I'm out the door in 10 minutes.
I
10
absolutely,
minutes.
no, absolutely not. Like I absolutely loathe the mornings. Like I hate
that's
it.
funny.
I hate it. I mean, again, it goes back on the weekends. I revert back to being a night owl. I mean, and I can go.
You're a late nighter.
I'm a late night. I mean, tomorrow night, Friday night, I will not be awake or I will not be asleep before midnight.
I'm already dreading tomorrow
problem.
night because we have the Keep Calm Jamboree, which I adore, but I'm going to have to stay there until like 9 o'clock at night,
And you'd be
which
like,
is
Alex is just
like
like, "Let's
midnight
go."
for me.
I will. So my lull usually during the afternoon is between like 3 and like 5.
Those are hard hours.
Those are hard
Fair.
hours.
And
I
by the
that's-
time like 5 or 6 rolls around, I feel like you do start to get a second win.
Because
Yes.
I don't take a nap usually. I mean, I'll do like a 20-minute
20
nap.
minute,
A 20-minute
that's my
nap,
thing.
15, 20-minute nap. And I'm very, like, I mean, I follow that. That's very rigid. Like, right,
Same.
no more than 20 minutes. So I will follow that. But then 3 to 5 o'clock, I mean, I'm just like, oh, good God. And then right when I'm usually supposed to go to
Right?
bed is when I get this burst
That's
of energy.
the hardest part because then you delude yourself like, oh, I'm okay. I took a little nap. I can stay up a little later, and then you pay for it the next day.
And then
Funny
it's
thing
just-
is we talk about this amongst us three, and there's people watching right now going, I feel your pain.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of
100%.
other careers
that have
crazy.
stuff.
My dad was a
Firefighters.
Oh my gosh.
Can you
Their
imagine?
shift is all over.
Can I just, get on my knees and bow
Right.
to firefighters?
I don't
first
know
off?
how.
I did a shift with the fire department one year, years ago, and I thought my shift was bad. I
Right.
would just lay down at the firehouse. Oh gosh,
Yeah.
really?
And like that noise probably just
Yes.
like nails.
They
on a
get no
chalkboard.
sleep, so
Okay.
I regress. I'm going to pull back.
We're
on
going to
my
talk about
complaint.
this
All right.
a lot over the next few months.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow, everyone.
All right. Good
Bye.
night. Good night.